Good morning, church family. Hope you're doing well today. Our passage today comes out of Judges 2, and our biblical theme today is sin and separation. So let's get right into this today. After that generation died, another generation grew up who did not acknowledge the Lord or remember the mighty things he had done for Israel. The Israelites did evil in the Lord's sight and served the image of Baal. Judges 2, 10 through 11. When your family gathers at Christmas, do you ever spend some time telling stories of things you did when you were younger? Most of us love to tell stories and remember the good times. Do you ever do that with spiritual things? When was the last time you sat down and told someone what God did or is doing in your life right now? I want to pause there for a second and focus on that question today. When was the last time you had that God conversation about what God is at work doing now or what God has done? These are stories that matter in our life, right? It's part of what makes us who we are, right? We all have this beautiful story that God has given us, and it's uniquely yours and it's uniquely mine. And each of us has this. And it's what we bring to the table when we engage in being the community and being the church, right? We bring our story to the table. We learn from each other. We glean wisdom from each other. And we encourage each other, we support each other, because no doubt there's people that have walked through or been through things, or God has maybe walked them through things that somebody else needs to hear. And that's what's so beautiful about the church. It's what makes us a beautiful community, right? So again, when was the last time you sat down and told someone what God did or is doing in your life right now? Do you see what Judges 2 says happened when people forgot the stories of what God had done? If you forget what God has done in your life or why you chose to follow Jesus, you'll likely end up following something else. You can read about people who did just that time and time again all throughout the Old Testament. Your stories of what God has done in your life and what God is continuing to do are very important to the spiritual life of those who will come after you. Be a generation that tells the story of God. Be a generation that tells the story about God. See, it's up to us to encourage the next generation. It's up to us to be the church that we want the church to be, right? Think about that statement for a second. To live out the church model that we believe God has called us to be, that we want the next generation and the generation after that to be, right? We need to be modeling that to our peers. We need to be modeling that to younger people. We need to be showing and not afraid to talk about who God is and what God has done in our life. And the greatest way, I believe, the most impactful way we can do that is by talking about our stories, talking about what God has done in our lives, talking about what God has done in your life. When you do that, it becomes very personal, becomes very transparent, becomes very real. When we're able to say, you know what, I was struggling with this and I laid it at the feet of Jesus. And because of that, he's now brought me through that, and I see transformation from the other side. Somebody in this world is waiting to hear those words today. I promise you that. So be encouraged by that, and also be challenged by that to find those people, to seek those people out, to look for those opportunities each and every day that God gives you to have these blessed conversations. Talking with God today. Consider the ways the culture distracts you from thinking about God. Do you care about movies, music, games, or friendships more than the stories of God's miracles? Ask God for opportunities to share his story with others in your life. Pray directly for that. If this is not something you're comfortable with, or something maybe that you've done a whole lot of, this sharing, this talking openly with others about what God has done, we need to pray directly toward that and say, listen, God, this is who God is, this is what God's done, and this is why it's so impactful to me. Those three statements right there could change someone's life. It's amazing what we can do with just our own story. And a little bit extra today. Take some time this week to sit down and make a list of the God moments from your life, including conversations with spiritual mentors. Maybe it was a camp, a retreat, a mission trip. Anything that God has used to help you trust him more is a God moment. Find 3 people this week to share your God moments with. My friends, reach out, look for those opportunities, see where God is already working, and join him there. I love that statement from Henry Blackaby. Pastor Mark mentioned it this past Sunday. Find where God is already at work and join him there. Love you, my friends. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.